This is Ken Hare with the Chicago Defender newspaper, and I'm here with Tom Tresser. He is the organizer and editor of the latest book, Chicago is Not Broke, Funding the City We Deserve. Tom specializes in explaining what TIFs are all about, and he's going to share with us the results of what happens when a TIF hits your community. So, Tom, explain to us, what were TIFs intended to do?
The idea was to bring economic development, jobs, usually through building something, to poor communities or so-called blighted communities.
And how much of the taxpayers' taxes actually go towards a TIF once it's created?
Well, it depends on the part of the city you're in. There are parts of the city where maybe 20 TIF districts take 90% of every property tax dollar collected inside the TIF, but there are dozens more that take 50 to 80% of all the property tax dollars. It adds up to about $460 million in 1 year.
How much?
$460 million in 1 year.
And how do the TIFs affect the community where they're created?
Well, unfortunately, they have the opposite effect of what they were intended to do for poor communities. Putting a TIF in a poor community gives you the opposite. It keeps blight. It doesn't remove blight. It handcuffs money into prosperous communities, and it prevents that property tax dollars from being distributed because you're supposed to spend the TIF money where it's collected. So if your community is poor and has a TIF, very little money in the pot. If your community is wealthy and rich, like the West Loop, the South Loop, their TIFs are flush, but that money can't find its way to your poor community.
And what can taxpayers do to prevent this from happening?
Hey, this is Chicago. We got to get smart, we got to get angry, and we got to get organized. So stay tuned.